Rebooted the podcast. I'm your host, Alida Hernandez. Come join me weekly to hear about my journey from recovery to healing after having a stroke and other life challenges. So let's get talking. Hi, it's Alida Hernandez from Rebooted the Podcast. We're on season 2, episode 4 today. Again, here at Studio 33 in Fort Lauderdale. I just want to remind you, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Rebooted the Podcast. It's on all platforms. So hit the subscribe button and like our content so we can continue doing this for you. So today, as you can see, I have a special guest next to me, and her name is Sherinata. How are you today, Sherinata?
I am fantastic. I love being here and in this energy of Alida and her beautiful Rebooted podcast with these amazing crystals and everything. Thank you for inviting me here today.
Thank you for coming. We met about 2 years ago or so, a year and a half ago, and we connected when we met each other at our trainer's house, Becca, and she was having a holiday party. And then, as of course, we're all busy people, time goes by. I run into her again at Becca's house, and we're like, oh my gosh, we never connected. So now
both times we're like, oh my gosh, we have to connect. We got along so well. You know, that moment when you really get along with somebody and you're like, I'm going to connect with them. And then we don't. Right. And then go ahead. I just had to put that in.
Oh, no.
Like, oh, wow.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. So what happens is, you have opportunity to meet people and you connect with them. You have to remember to really connect with them. So the second time when I saw her, I said, no, that's it. We're putting a date. We're going on the podcast. We're going to have lunch. We just came back from an incredible lunch at this little eclectic place that we found here in Wilton Manors. Is amazing. And I'm not doing any free promo, so I'm not telling you where it is. So, so we had a really nice lunch, and we've been talking about energy and just different. I have all my crystals and just understanding how we are as beings, that we're a source of energy. So Sherinata will explain more and tell us about her story, since she is a brain tumor cancer survivor. Right? Or brain tumor. Just survivor. Brain tumor survivor, not cancer, brain tumor survivor.
It's a big deal. Either way, they're both important, right? Yes. So how am I a brain tumor survivor? Or how did I get on this track? You want to hold this? Okay. Oh, I get the mic. Oh, we're in trouble now. Timer. Okay. So first of all, what does my shirt say?
Oh, yeah. What are you hiding on there?
Can you read it?
Badass is a brain tumor survivor.
Yes. And I'm wearing this for a reason, because it's a really, really important topic. And I want to get your attention about our electronics, about the world that we live in, about the energy that you are living in, or the energy that you're giving off even, right? Because, all energy can be toxic or positive in that sense. And so it's important for us to have a positive mindset so we can create a clear energy within us, as well as to create a clean environment, which could be, our water needs to be clean, our air needs to be clean, our food needs to be clean, and our mind needs to be clean. So a toxic environment creates toxic waste within our body and creates toxic energy. So choosing between positive and negative is a big deal. And sometimes we don't even know where to start. It's an overwhelming topic, isn't it?
It is.
It really is. So, so if you're really looking for change your health or get a healthier environment, this is definitely the podcast to be listening to for sure. And we're going to start with a little story. Okay. So back in 2013, I wasn't feeling very well. And I was getting a lot of lethargy. I was working behind my computer as a life coach. And I had created this great little office off my bedroom. It was adorable. And I had all my, all the technology in there. I had my Wi-Fi router, my electronics, my monitors, the works. We all want like that perfect little office, right? So, but for some reason, and I made it off my bedroom because I needed a quiet space where I could do my own programming and podcasting and stuff. So in 2013, I wasn't feeling well. And that's when I started getting my headaches and fatigue. And I never had that before. I'm like, what is this all about? So somebody told me, they're like, oh, you might be you might have electromagnetic sensitivity. I'm like, what is that? I've never heard of that, or hypersensitivity, as they might call it. And I said, what in the world is that? And they're like, well, you're in this small little office. You're definitely energy sensitive because you're an energy healer, energy life coach. And you need to really think about your environment that you're in. So I'm like, whoa, okay, this was a really intensive topic. So she talks to me about this stone, shungite, that I, actually use today. And she goes, just wear this stone for 3 days. She goes, and in 3 days, I guarantee you, you're going to feel better. And I'm like, what? Are you serious? Right? So, well, what do you know? In 3 days, I felt like love. The angels were ascending upon me. I didn't have any more headaches. The pain was all gone. The brain fog was gone. The lethargy was gone. And I became Oprah Winfrey at that moment. I said, everybody needs shungite. Everybody needs this. So I started putting this into, so I had a line of bracelets. So I started adding it into my bracelets. And then I had these stickers that I made for cell phone stickers for cell phone protection from cell phone protection from technology radiation. Now, here's the thing. I got very passionate about this for a reason, not only because I felt better, but because my first husband was an electrician. He passed away at the age of 34.
What?
At the age of 34 from the most aggressive brain tumor you could possibly ever have, leaving me with my 1-year-old son. And that was his, so his dying wish was literally to, see his first birthday. And so before you know it, we're young, we're, never expecting this to happen, and he's gone. And so when she talked to me about this technology radiation, I thought to myself, whoa, okay, this is scary because this could cause cancer. And I certainly didn't want what happened to my first husband to happen to my children, because I got remarried and, I had another daughter, and to my new family, and to my son also. So I started researching, and that's when I found out that back in the 80s, they actually said that electricians had the highest rate of brain tumors per occupation than all of them back in the 80s. What did we have then? Did we have cell phones? No. We only had beepers, didn't we? We had, if you remember what a beeper is, a pager, a beeper, that little thing. And it's because they worked around electricity and the high wires all the time. So I want you to really think about if that was that they did this study then, and they were the highest ones. Oh, with the glioblastoma brain tumor. Okay, so these electricians in the study, it was because they not only were they were the ones that had this tumor that they found all the time. That same tumor that killed my first husband is literally right now the number one tumor, glioblastoma, that kills a child between 0 to 18 years old for brain cancers. The number one tumor of cancers. So for brain. So here's the thing. What kind of environment are we living in today? That's what we need to think about. It's the most aggressive brain tumor. There's no turning back. When you are, there's no cure for it today. When you are diagnosed with it, usually it's between, they give you a longevity of possibly 9 months, maybe to about 1.5 years if you're lucky. So it's really sad because it's very fatal. This is why I became very passionate about the topic. So I started talking about EMF protection, which is electromagnetic fields and frequencies, since 2014, pretty much. When I'm found out about it, I'm like, everybody needs it. Little did I know, here's the kicker, here's the icing on the cake, that I am grateful to be the messenger today. Because little did I know at 2014 and 2013, when I was having those headaches and lethargy and brain fog, was because I literally had a 1 centimeter, was about 1 centimeter at the time, a brain tumor growing at that point, and I was already having the side effects. Because 1.5 years ago, almost 2 years actually, in April, I was diagnosed with a very large, almost a 6 centimeter brain tumor, where I had to go in for emergency brain surgery. I walked into the doctor in the emergency room, as some of us know. Walked in the emergency room. I said, I can't put my head over my hand over my head, and my foot is dragging. There's something wrong. I think I have a brain tumor. And they're like, well, okay, let's bring you in there. And at that point there, that was the story. We did the math. So once I had the diagnosis and we did the biopsy with that emergency brain surgery, we found out that it was an asymptomatic meningioma brain tumor. The average person that gets this tumor is usually a Black man over 60. Okay, because it's a grade 2. I am not any of those.
No, exactly.
No, and if nobody thinks I'm over 60, I am not. And but the thing is, the other average person that gets it is somebody who's around a lot of radiation. Okay, so it was growing at a very fast rate. It grew at 18% growth rate.
Wow.
You do the math, you roll it back. It started after I built my office. Within a year after I built my small little office with all this technology and the Wi-Fi router in there, I literally created a microwave oven for my home office. Right? Is that amazing? What do you have
Yeah.
to say about that?
What I want to say is I've been working in technology since PCs came out in 1982, and from high school, and I've been working with PCs all my life. I've had health struggles, as you know. I had the stroke, 6 years ago, and who knows if all that stuff had to do with it also, since what she's talking about home office, I'm a total techie. So I got computers, I have laptops, I got Wi-Fi, I got 3 monitors, I got printers. I have all this stuff in one room. And then at one point when I lived at my other house, everything was in my bedroom. So I slept there with all this technology on all the time, and then the cell phone all the time. And we don't realize now technology is part of our life. So everything has radiation. It's just like when you go to the doctor, they tell you, "Oh, let's do a CAT scan, let's do this." I don't want to do those tests because it's radiation. Isn't that radiation? Every time they take an X-ray, every time they do a CAT scan or MRI, all those things, they're just putting more.
How about the airport with all the traveling we're doing? So in the airplanes is a massive amount these days because it's all Wi-Fi and it's bouncing off all of the metal in there. Not only do they have their own Wi-Fi, I mean their own radio support, as well as what we're using inside of this metal container. Then we get out, we're traveling. If you're going to travel to Europe, you're going to have how many times you're going to get scanned. So when I just went back, I was having a heart issue. I went to the emergency room just a couple weeks ago, actually. And she asked me, have you been traveling? And I said, well, yeah. Why would you say that? She says, because when you're traveling, you have as much radiation coming out of those x-ray machines that you would have in I don't even remember what she goes. I mean, you could Google it, she says, but it was like so much radiation out of 2 x-ray machines that you're doing at the airport than you would at anything, even in the hospital at an x-ray machine.
Why would they even allow that stuff? I mean, can we use something else? I don't know. It's the same thing. We're talking about technology, airport scanners, all this stuff, all this electronic stuff, radiation bouncing off everywhere. It's the same premise like I always talk about food. It's the same thing. We got all these chemicals, they throw in preservatives and all this stuff, and nobody cares. Everybody thinks, well, it's
not gonna happen to me. Right. It's not gonna happen. It does happen to us. We blame it on other things. Yeah. We blame it on it's our biology. We blame it on it's my parents. We blame it on it could be stress. But we have to think about, sure, a lot of it is stress. It's environmental stress. It's our chemical stress. It's our mindset stress. It's physical stress. It's mental stress. It's everything. And here's something for you to think about. So it is true with the heart, like she said, even with the heart. So that's why she said, have you been around? She goes, because she says, when you're traveling, she goes, all those x-ray machines affect your heart. Yes. So
I wonder because
that's why electro hypersensitivity. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major areas. 5 major areas. Neurologically, it will affect your brain. Wow. Headaches, depression, anxiety. It's going to increase the endocrine system. So now it goes into your hormones and everything else. Okay, so irritability, tingling in the fingers, tingling in your hands. I would get this all the time. That's why I wear these shungite rings. And people who wear smartwatches, it's important.
So I need a shungite suit, bodysuit.
We haven't even talked about shungite
I know we haven't even talked about it yet, but we will now. But I need like a bodysuit because it's supposed to take all that bad energy, get it out of your body, and all that. So
So we have neurologically cardiac, palpitations, pain or pressure in the chest, which is what I was having, low or high blood pressure, shortness of breath, as in slow or fast heart rate, respiratory system, bronchitis, pneumonia, dermatological, skin rashes, facial flushing, itching, burning. And now sometimes I might flush. I don't know if it's menopause or if it's so we're not going to go in that area yet. The eyes, very important. Are those blue blocker glasses that you're wearing?
they have the blue.
They have
tint
a little
for
bit
the
of
computer.
purplish tint to it.
Yeah,
Yeah, so do mine.
Yeah.
Exactly. Very, very important because they're finding new cancers in the eyes.
From looking at the computer all the time,
Yes, they
and
are.
that electricity. I mean, you're
It's blue
getting
light. It's
as
called blue light.
right. So I got
Mhm.
the glasses with they have that protection for the computers.
Yes. And if you don't have them, you need to really make sure that you're getting blue blocker glasses because for yourself, for your children, when they're on the computers, it's almost like having safe sex. You're going to teach your kids to wear a condom. You're going to teach your kids to wear a seatbelt when you get in the car.
Right.
You need to learn how to be safer, and smarter with your smart electronics so you can live healthier and safer in a digital age because we are living in a digital age and the studies are not out there to prove we're literally the guinea pigs. They have not technology is moving too fast. How can they possibly do a complete study on 4G when it was only here for a couple of years?
Right. And now we got 5G, and they're still in the process of that. And they're already talking about they're going to increase it even more.
Right.
And there's been a lot of articles, and people they talk about conspiracy theories. Everybody uses that word just because they don't understand something. So automatically, when they don't understand what it is, it becomes a conspiracy theory. It's not. You can do research and really dig into the internet. Everything's available on there. That's why it surprises me so much that people can be so smart but so stupid at the same time.
And there you have it.
Right? I'm sorry. I had to say it.
You need to ask questions because there's always going to be two sides of the story. I want you to think about this. Like many things out there, this is a multi-trillion-dollar business. Do you think that it's going to always have a health? It's always going to have a perfect outcome for whatever we're doing. It's healthy for you. It's good for you. You're going to be fine with it. They're not going to want to change technology until it comes time when people really truly are showing what's the detriment, losing loved ones and all that. And so there is a lot that happens. I want you to think about mercury in the teeth. What happens? We have our thyroids. Where are you holding your phone? There's where are you putting it in your pants pocket? Or mommies who are putting in or just adult women putting it in their breast tissue. Not the place to put your cell phones, ladies. For your children, don't let them put it in their pockets because we're talking ovarian cancer and testicular cancers at the lowest ages ever, as well as sperm counts, so lowest ever in sperm counts. Where do you think this is happening? How is this happening? This is not just because it's happening. If you have a pain in your body, you're having an arthritis or you're having a carpal tunnel. It's just not caused because you have carpal tunnel. It's because you have something going on that you're stressing your wrist out. It could actually be maybe you're on the computer and want me to hold this because your arms? I'm sorry.
We were working out.
I know, right?
Say thank you, Becca.
Yes, thank you,
'Cause my
Becca.
biceps are-
They're getting pumped, baby. They're getting pumped. So there's a lot that happens with our technology and the energy that's coming in. It's actually considered a type 2 carcinogen from the World Health Organization. Yet on the other hand, they don't want to say, they still say it's okay and it's fine with us. So one of the things that I think it's really important for people to understand is that, we live in this environment and that we need to do something about it. So some of the things that we can do is don't hold the phone next to you. Don't hold it on your body. Do you know even iPhones? This is on my website. I have a lot of information even on my website. We keep adding more to it and because I have a little news area. in there. And we have something that talks about the iPhone. When the iPhone, I think 6 came out, they said that you cannot hold it within like certain inches from your heart if you have a pacemaker, because it will literally disturb the energy of the heart of the pacemaker. Did we hear about this on the TV? Did we hear about this on the news? No, we didn't, did we? We didn't. So, but it was there, but it was buried deeply, just like a lot of the information is buried very deeply. There's something called Baby Safe and the Baby Safe Project, where pediatricians from around the world all have all this information for mommies who are pregnant and having babies or raising their babies, how to raise them in a safer environment and to be careful about their fetuses, because where are you putting your laptop? Where are you putting your tablet? Where are you putting your cell phone? And literally, it will cause mitochondria and genetic changes in the core, in the fetus at that point. They had plenty of studies that show that. So it's really important to know that this starts early in life, and we're bearing babies with this going on. With
Well,
this,
just saying that, talking about babies, I see parents with their children very little, 2, 3 years old, and they got tablets already, and they're scrolling because kids are amazing and they're a sponge and they learn fast. But think about what you're doing. You have a 2 year old child barely living, and you got them stuck in front of a tablet or a phone with all this radiation, and then you got the commercials for St. Jude because all these children have brain cancers and brain tumors. I have a good friend of mine, Diane. She has a foundation to help parents pay for the bills, the medical bills with children with breast cancer, because she lost her daughter to cancer. She had a brain tumor. Okay, so yes, exactly. So this is something that I want to have her get. I hope she'll see this, Diane. I'm going to send this to you because you need to see this, and let's get this stuff in the hospitals for the kids. I'm already thinking about that. We need to do something with St. Jude and get. But the problem is that when you have something natural like this, okay, that can aid you, the society outside, big pharma, doesn't want that. Okay, I'm saying it. I said it. So they don't like that because billions, trillions of dollars in medication. Okay. I just stopped my last medication that I was taking. I refuse to take any pharmaceutical medication that's man-made with chemicals because I read the fine print. So like I was taking a medication for the diabetes, and which I'm almost done with it. I was on 2 insulins. Now I'm done with that. And I was only on one medication. And now I'm weaning myself off of that because I was having some side effects. And I couldn't understand these weird symptoms I was getting. And I was just telling Sherinata about that I was getting like I get these electric pulses through my body. Like it feels like this electric, like somebody shocking me in certain spots. And of course, the doctor right away tells you, oh, you're having neuropathy because you're diabetic. And they try to put all this negative stuff in your head, like, oh, it's not curable. Don't believe those lies because I'm living proof that you can survive from a stroke and survive from having lost 50% of my left side, and how I gain my memory back again. And I'm working out, I gain my strength again. So it takes time. It's nothing is overnight. You can't go on follow these things I have on TV that, oh, use this diet plan. Oh, I lost 75 pounds with this diet plan. But then they don't tell you you're eating processed foods, so you're gonna get cancer at the same time.
exactly.
Right?
And a lot of salt with that too. Definitely. So it is really important, and that's the whole thing. It's like just to really think intuitively about your life, about your food, and get out of your head and into your heart, and thinking about the environment that you're in, and is it a loving environment? And you know, not only I mean, we're talking. There's so many effects that they talk about um with technology. It creates an addictive personality.
Mm,
Just like
yes.
social media alone is addictive,
Yes.
but now we're talking the blue light actually releases hormones that actually create a dopamine that actually creates you
Oh.
to be addicted to it. Why are we addicted to our cell phone? Why are we addicted? We can't even leave. There's even a name for that addiction with the cell phone, that we can't leave the house without it, or else we're gonna be,
Yeah,
so it does create,
it does. It does.
yeah. And so this is what children are being raised on. And so, is it helping their eyes? Is it helping their brain? No. Now remember, they also have thinner skulls, smaller heads. Their brains are not formed yet, up to like 23 years old, I
Oh,
think
so
it is.
imagine.
So, not only that, they're putting cell phone towers on playgrounds,
Ugh.
okay, of the children's playgrounds and the schools. Because why? Because the schools and the school board gets paid money. They get paid at least a minimum of $1,000 a month for every single cell tower that's on the playgrounds on the property of the schools. Okay. In Maine, I know that they're passing laws where you're not even allowed to have it within a certain feet of residence now, the cell phone towers. In New York, we were just talking about the New
Right.
York situation. Right now in New York, they're saying, the commissioners are saying, we need proof. We want true proof that this is not, that these small cell towers are going to literally be put up every 7 to 10 homes or condos or apartments, literally right on the walls of where you're sleeping
Oh
with
my God.
children, beaming this into your home. Are you going to are you going to
So,
feel that? Yes.
so I have a question because we're trying to continually, society is pushing technology and now pushing electric cars, which is another issue. So I just wanted to bring that up because what I heard was like on the Tesla cars, there's like 40 batteries underneath the car. So guess what? Radiation to the max when you're sitting in your car because it's all batteries. So, and then you have to have a charging station at your home that's just more electric. Hello. And they continually, like, they want to get rid of our gas cars, which is healthier than this electricity. So, and then we can't even support the electricity. So I'm just thinking, like you said, New York. Now, New York, it went from 8 million people to 18 million.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It went from 8 million population to 18 million since the crises with the pandemic and all the people coming over the border and everything since our borders open. So just fathom that 10 million more people are in New York City. I grew up in New York. There's a lot of people. And that was back, I left in the 80s. So now it's wall to wall people, homeless people. And then if I'm trying to just like picture in my head these cell phone towers in New York City. Remember, you have high rises, everything's condensed, so everything is it's a small area, and then everything goes up. So you got all these buildings, and then you're gonna have all these like cell towers. Basically, they're gonna be panels on walls,
Exactly.
and then you got the cars. So now what? And they want to go to flying cars, and then we're gonna do all this other stuff. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know either. All I know is, here's the thing: we don't want to panic you. We don't want, and you can go down that rabbit hole with anything. There's so many things you can go down the rabbit hole with. What's important is to stay in the moment, to not, to stay in the moment. Think about what you can do at your home, what you can do in your school. Talk to your teachers about, even the Wi-Fi in the classroom is affecting those children. It actually creates ADD, ADHD. They actually have mice studies that show how in a Wi-Fi environment, the the mice are literally bouncing off the walls in a Wi-Fi environment. I have actually on my social media right now, on my Facebook page on Corellia Creations, a study that they just showed how the plants, how it was a high school project, how the plants won't even grow near the Wi-Fi,
Ah.
with the Wi-Fi router right there. But they have it in a Faraday cage where it's completely the seeds are not germinating at all over 30 days. And the other one, without the cell phone radiation, they're germinating just fine. So what's important here is for you to, like we said, go back to living healthy, get back into your home. You know, start using natural products in your home, for chemicals and things like that, because we're talking not just in the electrical things going on here, we're talking about, your entire environment, creating a newer, healthier mindset, aromatherapy, things like that, salt lamps. And then to realize, like, here's a top one, is don't hold the cell phone on your body. That's really, really important. Just get in that habit. Use the speaker phone. That's so important. Number two, please ditch. I know you're not going to like this one, but I do not believe in smartwatches and I do not believe in the earbuds at all because you're putting these earbuds right into your brain, right into your brain. If you're going to use anything, just use a corded, I go back old fashioned, old school, corded wire, or it's a corded, what do you call it? Earphone.
Yeah.
That's what I use.
Headset.
Yeah. Smartwatches. I know you want to, if you insist on using it because you love it, because you're connected all day long, don't wear it at night. Please don't wear it at night. You don't need to know everything that's going on in your body. You're sleeping. You're going to wake up in the morning, take your vitamins. How about don't use technology at least an hour before you're going to bed? Don't sleep with your cell phone next to you. If you're going to sleep with your cell phone next to you, make sure, definitely don't put it in your bed because you're listening to it. Meditations, put it over next to your nightstand and put it off and make sure that you have it on airplane mode because it won't be sending and receiving signals. Okay, that's really important. Very important. Use Wi-Fi, airplane mode as often as you can. Here's another one. Where's your Wi-Fi router? Where do you keep your Wi-Fi router? I had mine in my home office that was off my bedroom. So not only was I working in it all day long in my small little office space, but I was also sleeping with it off my bedroom. So I was also receiving that constant signal. So I was never able to recover and heal my body because at night, isn't that when we're supposed to be healing our body? We're restoring our cells, restoring our energy. And you can't do that if it's constantly being bombarded by this field, okay? And which is toxic. And it's creating free radicals in your body. Your brain is always working because it's sending and receiving signals constantly. So you want to make sure that your Wi-Fi router is at least minimum 8 to 9 feet from your body, your sitting area. So if you're in the living room, keep it in the living room. That's a great area because by your TV area, because you're not going to be sleeping usually in that area and you're sitting far from the TV. If you have a Wi-Fi router in your children's room or near it, bad idea. Or your home office, bad idea. Get it out of there. Rewire it. If you have to rewire your home back again, a lot of people are hardwiring. You actually have a much better connection, right? So hardwiring is really, really important. So I have a PDF where you can learn so much more about it, an ebook.
Right. So Sherinata has a free ebook, which I'll put the link in the description, so you can get that free ebook that talks about all the stuff that we've been talking about here.
It's how to live what is it, EMF protection made simple, because it can be overwhelming where to begin. And I really want people to understand that it doesn't have to be overwhelming. It can be easier because it's about taking small baby steps and making small changes make a big difference. They do.
Yeah, and then so let's talk about little changes. So you gave me an incredible bracelet. For those who are on YouTube can see it. I have this nice bracelet, which we haven't talked about, the shungite, right? Is that how you say it? Shungite. So it's a stone. It's a mineral. It's a mineral, right? It's a stone.
Yeah.
So she will do some demonstrations here and talk a little bit more about that. So why don't you talk about more?
Okay.
Protection now.
Okay, so this is the triple protection bracelet. So you're really lucky you got that, even with it's a specially made one with an aromatherapy. But here's the thing. So, there's there's not a lot of things that we know of that can actually neutralize radiation naturally, right? Not too many things. We know there's a lot of conductors that do that, but we know that I know for sure that shungite, which is a mineral which is a rock, that we can get. And it actually holds the carbon 60 molecule, the C60 molecule, which is considered the molecule of the 21st century, according to scientists. Now, here's the thing is that It's called also the fullerene, which is by Buckminster Fuller. He was a famous scientist, and he also worked with energy, and he actually created this C16 molecule, which looks exactly the shape of it looks exactly like the Epcot ball at Epcot, right? Which is kind of cool. And so that was actually really released at he debuted it at the World's Fair back in 1960 something, right, in New York. So that right then they realized, wow, this is like the most powerful model of a cell that you can find, and of a molecule that you can find. And so now what they did was they actually back in the 90s, two other scientists they discovered it again, and they started using it. They ended up winning the Nobel Prize in science, so as a carrier molecule. And that's what's really cool. Well, the neatest thing is that rather than creating this and man making this, which they use it in science all over the place, we actually have it naturally found in the form of shungite. Right. So this neutralizes the radiation that does come from your computer. So you can sit this at your desk. You can sit it next to your, yeah, you do. You can sit it next to your bedside. And so you can have a good night's sleep. It helps to create harmony where there's disharmony in the environment or even within your body, like even releasing pain. So can you hold this a second? So
Sure.
I'm going to show them
Yeah.
something. The magic trick, right?
Magic
The
trick.
magic trick. Alida couldn't believe this. She was like, what? Okay, so the thing with shungite is like sometimes people mistake it, or maybe they're sold fake shungite. I've seen it many times. I've been working with this since 2014, remember, and I've seen it for a long time. So you want to test your shungite, and so like this is just a regular flashlight, an LED flashlight, nothing special about it. So I'm going to take off the conductor, which is a little silver part here, okay, and it doesn't work anymore, right? It's not working.
Correct. Right.
Okay. But if I so now here's the amazing thing. The shungite carries its own electrical field, which is the perfect field, the harmonic field of our bodies, of the planet, for everything to work in harmony together. Unlike the electronics and electricity, it's fritzing us out. It's literally fritzing us out. That's what it's doing, and so we're creating harmony back again, peace, people who feel peace. And so this will actually, just a little point will light up a flashlight again. See? Yeah. Which is amazing. And here, like, will selenite do that? Nope. No. What is this stone here? Do you know? I don't know. This beautiful, amazing aquamarine, it looks like. Nope. No. Well, I don't know what else I have. Oh, give me that amethyst over there. We'll take the amethyst. Oh, there's a black stone. Ooh, let's see. This looks like onyx to me. Nope. No energy. But it sure looks like shungite, doesn't it? Yeah, it exactly. Does. Yeah. So you can test all the other stones, and that's why. Oh yeah, there you go. Here's another one. This looks. I don't know which one that is. That might be a tourmaline. Nope. So that's what's really powerful. Here's a bead of shungite. Lights up the flashlight. Whoops, there it goes. I got to get on there just right. There he goes. Lights up the flashlight. So that's what's really important. So, you want to, here was a bracelet that somebody says, you made this bracelet for me, Sharon. And I said, this is not my bracelet. Did not make this for you. They're like, well, it has shungite. And I'm like, no. And so when I tested it way back when, I can test it now. Does it show it? Nope, not at all. So it's really important to know that you're buying the right source. So this actually neutralizes the radiation. And so it creates a bubble of protection around you, and it actually creates, like I said, harmony where there's disharmony. So you can actually, as it helps restore our bodies, it actually restores fruit and vegetables. So your fruits and vegetables, if you put the rocks in your near your fruits and vegetables, it actually helps them last longer, even in your refrigerator. Your refrigerator draws out. And it only lasts like, a few days. This will literally give it like an extra extension of life, like another week. What else?
Wow, I'm gonna have to put shungite everywhere for
water. Because your water too, especially. It's really, really good in your water because they actually use it even in cosmetics because it gives longevity of cellular rejuvenation in the body. They use it in filtration in Europe as carbon filtration because remember, this is it's carbon. It's really carbon. Wow. Aren't we carbon? Aren't we made out of carbon? Like, this is what our world is made out of, the carbon. We are like carbon footprints. We are literally like, this is who we are. We are carbon. So that's what's so amazing, is that this amazing stone is used in filtration. It is used to heal our bodies. It's used to neutralize energy. It is just phenomenal. And that's why it's so important. So I actually make even a cell phone sticker and electronic stickers.
It's interesting you do that because I have this thing on my hand and I really believe that it's from my cell phone.
What do you have in your hand?
I have this not nodular thing and I always
Oh,
hold my phone on this hand.
yep. I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay. And
Remember we talked about rashes,
rashes,
tumors. It makes
yes.
tumors,
Yeah.
it makes cysts, everything.
Yeah.
Yep. I wouldn't be surprised either. Totally. I know many people. That's why I need to start my own podcast. And maybe you can help me with that, because I need to make it easy. And I have so many people that call me and say, my brother was diagnosed with a tumor because he always held the cell phone here. My wife, well, I didn't want to say it this way, but she had breast cancer, and she literally held her cell phone here. um there's just so many stories constantly, and what I'd like to do is start interviewing people so people can hear the stories, because this is true. This is real.
Yeah.
This is real. I lost my first husband because of this. And guess what? I am here to talk about it today. And we always think, like we said in the beginning, it may not happen to our children. We don't want it to. We don't think it's going to happen to us. It's not going to happen to my children. They're all healthy. They're all happy. We were healthy and happy. So
Yeah, it's really interesting because if you see the years, like we were talking about how technology developed. Now, I can't say I could have had a stroke because of technology, due to the fact, I mean, I'm a techie. So I've been working, I've been on computers since 1982, and at many of my houses I had a whole server room, servers, computers. I mean, talk about electronics. Then my grandfather was electrician and a radio, TV and a radio technician. That's how I started into computers. So he was around that. So who knows, like all these different things that are happening to me still now, because I'm always in front of the computer. Like right now I'm looking at my podcast desk. So I got two monitors, I have a desktop, I got cords everywhere, I got microphone, I got the printer, I got all these cameras that are viewing us now.
On your feet, and look at all the technology
Yeah.
around your feet.
Yeah.
All the technology around your feet, because it causes cysts. It causes so many things. So it's really important for us to think. I remember when I was having a pain in my elbow. I was like, why am I having this pain in my elbow? And I wasn't like, I don't play tennis, maybe pickleball. And I wasn't even playing pickleball at the time. Everybody plays pickleball. And so I was, I had this pain in my elbow. Well, come to find out, it was because at that time I only had an e-sticker, the e-stickers for electronics. I always say this is important. Like, it's important to use anything that's technology. And if your body is touching it, you need to be protected wherever your body is touching it. So if you're using a laptop, you either need to have a sticker on each side of on the laptop, one of these stickers, or make sure you're wearing a bracelet on each side. At this time, I did not do that. Instead, I had a bracelet on one hand and the sticker just happened to be on the other, and I thought it would be fine. This is years ago. Well, little did I realize that all of a sudden I started wearing like two. I think I had put the bracelet on the other hand or whatever it was. And all of a sudden it went away. And then I realized every time I came out into the kitchen, because I had everybody working in my, in the kitchen area, I would move from the office, my little microwave oven office, into the kitchen. When I would have my team there, I didn't have the jewelry on. That's what it was. I didn't have the jewelry on. So I was only using one side. The one sticker was on the computer. Those days is when my arm would act up. Then I realized, I'm like, oh my God. So I don't know. I was doing something. I put the bracelet on for whatever reason, and all of a sudden it went away. And I said, wow, this pain in my elbow was being caused literally from the radiation coming up from my computer.
I could imagine. I could believe that because I suffer. So I'm going to be good guinea pig for this because I suffer both my wrist. I have, they say carpal tunnel. And when I'm on the computer, forget it. I have stuff going on here.
Yeah.
Like my hands are bad. My hands and my feet. I have a problem with both my hands and my feet. and I'm constantly computer, the phone. I'm just always around something. I mean, and when I had the stroke, actually, I think about this. I was working as an IT project manager. I was on the computer 8 hours a day, doing crunching dates and numbers and tasks and just constantly emails, just all the time. And then I had to do it from home. So I work remotely and then I would go into the office. So I would work from home with the laptop, where I'm on the laptop. I go to the bed, I'm on the laptop. I got the phone. I'm always constantly connected. So I have been constantly connected to technology for over 30 years. So did I get a stroke? I could have been a lot of things. Yes, diabetes, blood pressure, drinking, eating. But I'm thinking that compounded for all the technology I've been around. I used to work. So I worked in many companies, but I worked when I first got to Florida, I worked at a bank. So I guess where they sit the IT manager inside the server room where there are 20 computers nonstop all day, monitors, UPSs, everything you can think of. I sat in there for years.
Yeah.
So how much radiation haven't I been exposed to?
Yeah, and it's going into it goes into the heart, and they've actually found new heart cancers that never have been found before, heart tumors, I should say, and I think it's tumor and cancer. Just like there's just so much. I mean, our thyroids, our endocrine system, our digestive system, I mean, our gut. I mean, so much. So here's the thing too, is that it is a metal, heavy metal. So we want, if you think you have this, you want to look for like heavy metal cleansers, because we get heavy metals in the brain. It does strip your body of minerals. So oftentimes people who have electromagnetic hypersensitivity, which is what I have, and definitely I think you have for sure. Will test each other after, and you want, a lot of times you're going to be low on your minerals. You're going to be low on magnesium because you're not absorbing, and you may not be absorbing it correctly either. That's the thing, because you feel like, sometimes even with neuropathy, it's the B complexes. You're not having enough B complexes. Your body's not absorbing the B complexes. Your body's not absorbing the magnesiums, and that's why sometimes we get the itchies too, or like restless leg syndromes and things like that, because we're not holding on to the minerals. So it's really important to look into health, your healthy body. Go to a functional medicine doctor, go get some, hair samples, saliva samples, or whatever it is that, maybe a holistic doctor, because a conventional doctor, sometimes they're really helpful and sometimes they just don't, they're not educated. That's the thing. They're not educated in this.
No, they're not. Unfortunately, our medical system has one system and they have an indoctrination and everybody's taught the same thing, and that's all well and good if that's their course. But I have discovered over my lifetime now that I had to go to alternative medicine, acupuncture, herbals, supplements, just natural things that are just grow out of the earth, as they say, God made, right? Everything is, we're all one, we're all with the flowers. I mean, right now we discovered, okay, moringa. Just, I know I'm going off topic, but I have to say this real quick. Moringa is it's a tree, right? It grows, and this plant has the all the essential amino acids that you need,
That's amazing.
all 9 of them that our body doesn't make. Okay, there's a tree across the street, and we were just talking about that. I eat it as a microgreens, make tea out of it. It's unbelievable. If you look it up, the incredible miracle that this plant has, all the way to the root of the tree. So you can take the whole thing, and what the Chinese do is they take. My Chinese doctor told me, you like take the watermelon, you take the rind, right, the skin, and you bake it, and then then you grind, you make a powder, and then you can take it as a herbal supplement because there's so many properties in the watermelon.
Wow.
And actually the watermelon cured my UTI. It cures UTI.
Wow.
Watermelon juice, but you have to take the watermelon with the rind and the skin, and you put everything in the blender, and then you drink that. I drank that for 3 days and completely washed out the UTI.
Wow, that is incredible.
So
I think, Alida, you need to do a whole podcast just on your merengue and watermelon.
yeah, I'm always researching, so that's why I keep doing this podcast, because I want to bring stuff like this is amazing for you guys out there, because we have to protect ourselves. I'm learning stuff. I learn stuff every single day. With Sherinata, I just learned all this stuff. I mean, she tested it out. I'm gonna be one to get the shungai, and I'm gonna test it because I am truly a techie constantly. I make sure now I don't have my cell phone by my head. I used to put it like right there charging. Right, I got all this electricity and the phone in my brain. Right, so now I put the phone on the side. I put it on the floor. I say it's far away from me. I charge it. I put it on sleep mode, and I don't see it till I wake up in the morning. And then yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So even JC does that too, because we learned about that as well. And then heavy metals. I don't know if anybody remembers, but back, if you're older or old as me, right? So
Yeah, the pager beeper
yeah, the
days.
pager days. So when you had fillings in your teeth, they were all metal fillings. Okay. So about 20 something, about 20 years ago, I went to the doctor, said, metal's not really good for your teeth. And I thought it was just, oh, they just want to get money out of me. But not true. Metals are really bad for you. So I got all my fillings redone with porcelain. And just the other day, my mother was complaining. She's like, Allie, I have this like black like spot on my gum. And I'm like, what is that? I take her to a surgeon, dental, the specialist. And he said that she had metal fragments in her gums, which he had to remove. So now she's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's because those metals have gone into her brain, which is causing her to have Alzheimer's now. So it's unbelievable. And like she's 85 years old, and all of a sudden this metal just came out. 85 years old, and all of a sudden, and she doesn't even have the metal fillings anymore.
Wow.
She doesn't have them.
So it wasn't taken out properly. And that's the important thing about that is off topic, because I had mine out many years ago, and you really have to read. Not every doctor can take them out. Dentist, I should say, can take them out correctly. You have to really, really research somebody who is a functional or there is a name for it, a special type of dentist that knows how to do this properly. Don't go conventional if you're going to be taking that out for sure. The cell phones also, that's the other thing, is if you do have silver fillings, they're actually, remember, silver is a conductor.
Oh,
Silver is a conductor. So, yep. So that's what's going on here.
so you're the phony.
They've actually found mercury being released during studies as people are talking on the phone in their Wi-Fi environment. Yep. So because it's thermal radiation, just like this. Remember, it's heating it up. It's heating it up. So I know they can't see this, but it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get the graphics, but she has. So Sherinata has this flyer here. Yeah, okay, and she shows her thermography, right? Thermography. I never know how to say that. That shows all the heat sensitivity in her body, right? So that's the baseline, and then it goes after 2 minutes of being on a cell phone. How she has all this red everywhere because of all the
2 minutes.
2 minutes, and she's all messed up, all the radiation coming through her. And then in another picture it shows where with the shungai sticker and how it's lessened. It is, you don't see the spots, you don't see the hot spots, the red on her, because it's protecting her. So that's amazing that she actually has an image here that shows that. So this is proof that this works, and she's proof because she had a tumor. And usually it's unfortunate that we have to go through trauma in our life in order to do something, right? So my girlfriend, she lost her daughter. She started the foundation thing. I mean, we always try to do stuff. I mean, I guess we're here just to help other people so they don't have to go through this. And that's the bottom line. We don't want anybody to have a tumor or have cancer and all this other stuff. It really breaks my heart about the children. So I'm on a mission. I'm on a shungai.
We're like,
mission.
everybody needs it.
Everybody needs it. So we need shungai necklaces for every child that has cancer. So sponsor, any sponsors out there, I need to sponsor. I need shungai bracelet necklaces for every child in St. Jude. So somebody be calling me.
Oh my gosh. Oh, would that be amazing? Oh, that just gave me butterflies. Yes. So it is just such a, I'm so blessed and grateful that you invited me and that we became friends, because we know we were supposed to be friends and that we hit it off like crazy. As you can tell, we definitely have the same energy, get into it, and have the same passions, because we really do want you to live healthier in a digital world. This is the plague of the 21st century.
Yes.
And we need we want to keep our children safe. And honestly, if you think about it, just like this did this to my body in 2 minutes as an adult body with the thermal radiation. There's thermal and non-thermal. Thermal means it's being held up to your ear, like the heat is right there. Think about all the non-thermal that's coming out from everything else. All this other radiation is non-thermal that could have, we don't know for sure. You were in a non-thermal environment working in it for how many years?
Too many.
Too many years.
All my life I worked in, well, since I was 18 I've been working in technology. So I have been around computers and servers, and they always want to stick you in the server room, but nobody understands because nobody knows.
Right.
Nobody talks about that. You know how many people I know in IT, and they all have issues? They all have physical issues.
Wow.
Of course, you're in a room. I mean, it's in closed room. So like it would be like here. So I would be basically all this would be wall of computers, less like a whole bunch of them,
8 hours a day.
8 hours a day, and you're inside fixing computers. When I worked at Bank Atlantic, we had a huge, we called it a bunker. There must have been 100 servers. Okay. And then you got big UPSs that backup batteries that for them, and then all the electricity that's in there, and all the monitors and all this stuff. I'm freaking out thinking about it. How much I've been around this all my life.
They actually say it, it does mess with the pancreas with the insulin as well. So they said that, diabetes as well. So there's been testing. So here's the thing is that there is actually scientists from around the world also that actually signed a petition, have signed a couple petitions about this. And, people are saying, oh, we need the scientific studies. There are scientific studies. You just have to go to the right place. You can go to another website that's really great that has so much information. It's called environmentalhealthtrust.org. Trust it's called. And she's phenomenal. Like, oh my gosh, I've been watching them for years, just grew up, but they are literally scientists who are out there like proving and showing. And it's like, but instead we have to listen to what is on,
Yeah.
what's in the regular news.
We don't want to go there.
Yeah.
The whatever news that's out there. That's what we talk about all the time. They don't give you important news. They give you trash news. I don't care about some famous actor, what they're doing. I really don't care. We want to protect our children. I have two boys. You have children too. We wanted to protect our kids. My youngest one is 22. And they're on the phone all the time. They got the watches. They got the ear things. And
Anxiety, it can create depression. So here's because it's messing with the hormone systems, right? And that's our mental. We have enough challenges with mental illness, wellness. I mean, it's even with the pandemic that we just had. I mean, the poor kids already. Where were they at? They were all day on the computer. So not only were they, being affected from the pandemic, but now they're also being stuck, being isolated in abandonment behind their computers in their rooms, and on top of it with their technology, messing constantly with their brain.
Yeah, and especially with the gamers. I'm really concerned about that because gaming, I could never get into gaming. One, because I get that motion sickness.
Oh, right.
So the games you're in it, you're like in the game, and I'm like, oh, I'm like doing this. My kids would make fun of me. Mom, what are you doing? I'm like with the controller like this, trying to figure out where I'm going. And then I really would get all dizzy, and they say it causes epileptic seizures. And then they say that they say
watch the lights. Yeah.
So some kids out there have to be really careful because it affects your brain. So the parents that allow their children hours on end, because I know my kids, when I would go to their dad, they would be there on the computer for hours, and I would be so upset because they're so young. And I have my older son had ADHD. Okay. He was gaming a lot. I don't know. I don't know what the effects. I mean, he started young, but still, so many things.
There's so much. So it's just about, like we said, going back to our environment, our foods, our chemicals, and creating a holistic environment. Go out and ground yourself. Go out and play outside. Don't give your babies as they're growing up. Let them look at the trees and the birds. Let them play. Don't when you're sitting around, even going out to eat. Try not to don't give your children, just give great healthier habits. Don't put the technology in front of them. Start talking with them, communicate with them. There's so many things that we can do. So, we just really wanted to, just on a high note. I always like to raise it on a high note, leave things on a high note. So, is just, definitely, do what you can to live healthier. Do what you can to do, to be with your family and live, because I'll just tell you right here, it's important. Right here it says, the 6 environmental factors making us sick today are, so it's top 6: air pollution, water pollution, soil contamination, lead exposure, radiation exposure, and indoor pollution. So all those right there, the soil, that's our food, the air, the water, everything. Create a healthier environment, healthier mindset, and do that for your family.
Exactly. So that is exactly what we want to do here at Rebooted the Podcast. Is just helping you to create that positive mindset, create your dreams to reality, protect yourself. I will have all the links for Sherinata's, all her information, so you can get the EMF protections for your phones and the bracelets and the actual pyramids, which are amazing, and
Jewelry
and the jewelry and everything. I mean, I'm gonna have to. I don't know. I need Shanghai towers in around the studio, at least around where my technology is, because unbelievable. I'm looking at this and I'm just thinking. I'm like, wow, like all this stuff that emanates from there, and just watch your children. Just protect your kids. We didn't grow up with it. I was wondering because as time goes on, each generation we have a different sickness, right? Because of the environment. So now we're in the generation, our kids, most of our in the last 20 years, those children have grown up with technology. So my children have. So I'm surely getting on the phone with my son later to get him some of this stuff. So
our brains will thank us for it in the next 10 years, let me tell you, and our bodies will be thanking us for it. So, definitely it's time to be smarter than your smart electronics and teach it to your children.
Well, thank you, Sharon, so much. You have such amazing information. You're an amazing person. I get goosebumps. And we must have been soul sisters at another time. So anyway, bye everybody. And remember to subscribe at all platforms. Rebooted the podcast. I'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Rebooted the Podcast to learn about each episode's guests and topics. This is your host, Alida Hernandez. See you next Tuesday.